what's up, and welcome back to another $10 extreme grocery haul and meal plan video. So if you are new here, I've done a few of these extreme grocery haul meal plan videos before. I will link the playlist down below if you want to check out more of my ideas. But just to give you a little bit of background in case you're new here or in case you've forgotten, my husband and I have cut back way cut back on our groceries, and we have budgeted down to $30 a week. Now, I am whole food plant-based vegan. My husband is not, but he's willing to eat plant-based because he sees the benefits not only through his health, but also because it really helps us cut back on our groceries. So today I'm just going to share with you what I purchased at the store, what I prepped ahead, and all of the meals that we made for ourselves for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for an entire 7 days. I did budget for $10 per person this week, even though our grocery budget is $30 total. So I only spent about $21.47. So just a hair over what my actual budget was. But since I budget for $30, it's okay. Like, we can squeak out, you know, $1.50 extra, if you will. So I will leave my entire grocery list typed out in the description box below, along with all the recipes that I created and I'm sharing this week. But one of the things that's really awesome about being whole food plant-based is the amount of volume of food that you get for the little cost of money. You can get beans and potatoes and lots of vegetables, and you can create multiple meals using these same components. So if you have clicked on one of my videos before, you will see I use a lot of the same ingredients, but I try to share different recipes with them. So if you have any of these pantry items at home, you can recreate any of these recipes, or if you're looking to cut back on your grocery budget for whatever reason, these will be very helpful ideas for you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you never lose me in the YouTube black hole, because I do share a lot of these videos every single month, plus what I eat in a days and other recipe and budget friendly ideas as well. And make sure to follow me over on Instagram at Miranda Running on Plans. All right, so let's get started, and I'll show you first the grocery haul and then how I prepped ahead for the week to come. Here is my little haul. Actually, this is a lot of food for just a little over $20. I think it was $21, $20.97. I'll try to remember to pop a picture of my receipt up. So let's run through this haul really quickly, as I always do, and then we'll get to the prep and then to all of the meals for the week. So I did get the Normandy blend frozen bag. It's about almost 4 pounds of frozen veggies. That was on sale. Wonderful price. So I got a mix of vegetables this week. I did get 3 kinds of beans: black, small red, great northern, a pound of each of those. Great prices on dry beans. So if you don't do dry beans, you should. It took all of you to convince me to switch to dry from can. A 5-pound bag of potatoes, which is like a huge staple for us. Brown rice, I think this is a 2-pound bag. Celery, 2 pounds of carrots, white corn tortillas. These were on sale for 78 cents. So I thought, you know what? I have an idea. I'm going to use those for 3 bananas that need to ripen really fast. I might throw those in a brown bag to ripen those because I need them tomorrow, ASAP. 3 yams, 1 really large onion, some quick cooking oats, because those are my personal favorite. I have a couple recipes in mind for these, and then a couple canned products real quick. I got some stewed tomatoes with Italian herbs, 2 cans of corn, and then because of last week's haul, loving this one so much, I got the yellow can, which everybody told me to try, and it's this flavor. It's supposed to be really spicy and really delicious. If you haven't had this, it reminds me of like a really spicy enchilada sauce, but it's hot tomato sauce, and there's a duck on it, I was told, because el pato means duck in Spanish. So that's why there's duck on it. So there's my whole haul. Let's get into what I'm prepping, and then I will show you all of the meals that we are making this week by having a $10 per person budget. So the first thing that I do is I start to prep anything that I can make ahead of time to make my life easy throughout the week. And I did take a poll over on Instagram asking you all on a post, how do you prep when it comes to your lunches, breakfasts, and dinners throughout the week? And how can I better serve you and help you prepare for the week ahead? And I got so much wonderful feedback that I'm hoping to gather it all and put it into this one little video by showing a couple different varieties of breakfast, lunches that you can make fresh, dinners that you can make fresh, dinners that you can make ahead, and also to have leftovers. So with all that in mind, I started by doing my beans and my rice, and I apologize, I did not get my rice in a clip, but I did get my beans. I will also link my beans video above, that way you can watch and see how I make my beans if you are curious. But I've switched from canned beans to dry beans, and it's been a game changer. So keeping in mind that I'm giving you a lot of ideas when it comes to meal prep, the first thing that I did is prep anything ahead that I could. Scooting on, I am showing you the lunch prep that I did. I chopped 2 of the yams, about half of the white potatoes, and about a third of the onion, and the vegetables. I did about half of the frozen bag, and I'm putting them in my oven at 425 for about 40 minutes. And I just did a little bit of sea salt and a little bit of garlic on both of them. I put the veggies on the top rack, the potatoes and the onion on the bottom rack. But this is something, again, that I can prepare ahead of time because I personally really like having lunches prepared, and that's the leftover potatoes. So I still had a lot of potatoes left. And then I'm showing you, see, I still have more onion. And also I wanted to add, I am saving my veggie scraps, so stay tuned for the end of the video. I'll show you what I'm doing with those. But again, I really like to have lunches prepared. And for the potatoes, if you don't like potatoes like reheated from the oven, put them in your air fryer. They're delicious. So this is one of the lunches that I put together: some potatoes, some beans, some veggies. It's a beautiful plate. It's very filling. There's a lot of protein, a lot of starches, a lot of nutrients. So this is just one of the lunch ideas from this week. Another thing that I prepared ahead of time was I prepped all of my veggies. So I scrubbed, peeled, washed everything, my carrots, my onions, and my celery, and decided to get it sauteing kind of in a pot with some water, salt, and garlic. For me, anything that I can prep ahead of time and then put in the fridge and then throw together on a weeknight makes it so simple. So it's like half prepared, half, fresh, if that makes sense. So it's just like some of the components speed up the process. So instead of a 30-minute dinner, it only takes 15. So I was planning to make a 3-bean chili with half of this, and then I knew I could throw the other half of the vegetables in the refrigerator and they'd be ready for me during a weeknight, so that way I could pull them out and start another soup that I had planned. You don't have to make these ahead of time. Like I said, you can let them simmer. They only take about 15 minutes. You just add some water, let them cook until they're nice and soft. I usually only add about 1.5 cups of water and some seasonings, but I will show you here that I did reserve half of them, and then I started the 3-bean chili. So those are the ones that I saved for the chili, and then look how many veggies this is. So many. And then this is for a second recipe later this week. But again, this is just one of the ways that I find that is easiest for me, and hopefully it's helpful for you. Another meal that I made quickly ahead was I made the 3-bean chili. So I just add the stewed tomatoes that I picked up from the store, and then 2 cans of water. You can add veggie broth, you can add, seasonings, you can add whatever you want, but I just wanted to show like the most simplest recipe here. I let this come to a simmer, and then I actually stored this whole pot in my refrigerator. I've said this before in other meal prep videos or dinner idea videos, is that this is the easiest thing for me during the week, is I can just put this whole pot in the fridge after I have prepped it ahead of time, and then I can call my husband on the way home from work and say, hey, can you take that pot and put it on the stove on medium heat? And then by the time I get home, dinner is ready to go, and it tastes fresh and like, as soups do, like they taste good when they're reheated, but this tastes really, really fresh and delicious. So I did add about a heaping cup of each of the beans. Beans for me are very, very filling. So this is obviously a meal that makes more than 2 servings because it's my husband and I. This is something that makes a lot. So this is perfect for leftovers. You could put this over potatoes later in the week, which we did do. I don't think I got a clip of that, but there was a lot of leftovers. At any time throughout the week, if I realize, there's just a lot of food going on, I can save the leftovers in the freezer as well. And then we can enjoy them the next week too. Since it's just the 2 of us, it seems like sometimes we have a lot more food than we need for a week, but that's never a bad thing when you're only spending $10 per person. So I did add a can of corn, which I also grabbed in my haul. And then I'm just adding a few just tiny seasonings to this. I had some cumin and some sea salt. I try to keep my seasonings very tiny when it comes to these videos in case you guys don't have a lot of seasonings in your house. I personally don't, because I just don't like seasoned food, I guess. Salt and garlic is enough for me, but you can add any seasonings to any of the meals that I show if you have them in your seasoning cabinet or if you want to purchase them. So like I said, I brought this to a simmer, and then I let it cool, and then I popped it in my refrigerator with a lid on it, and then later this week we enjoyed this one evening. Here is one of 3 breakfast ideas that I'm giving you for the week, because as the poll said on my Instagram, some people like one breakfast for the whole week and some people like a variety. So here's the ingredients you're gonna need, plus a pinch of salt. What you're going to do is you're going to mash your bananas up and then add your oats. As a reminder, the recipes are all linked below in the description box, but I thought by giving a variety of ideas with breakfast using the same components would help with boredom, might help with other people in your family that have, different taste and textures and like different things. So I'm giving you a couple different varieties. I will say with this specific recipe and the next one that I'm going to show is I use quick cooking oats, and I use a little bit of water, and I let this bowl sit with the bananas kind of mixed in for about 10 minutes. And that allows the oats to kind of bloom a little bit, so they get a little bit soft instead of being dry. So when they bake, the texture of the baked good is soft and luscious, almost like a dessert. So you can throw these in a muffin tin, you can throw these in a bread tin, you can throw them however you would like to. I'm just showing you how many oats are still left. But I decided to throw them in silicone donut molds because we all know everything's better as a donut. So this made 12 quick and easy donuts that you can just throw in the refrigerator, grab and go throughout the week as you want to. But hang tight, I have another recipe because I know a lot of you are allergic to bananas. Since so many of you are allergic to bananas, I want to show you another option. It's basically the exact same ingredients, but instead of bananas, I'm using this pre-baked yam. Now, I personally just threw this in the microwave and cooked it up and made it soft and tender, but make sure that the yam is completely cooled, and then you're gonna make bread this time. You could do donuts as well, but I'm showing you that I'm actually making it in a bread tin to make as a dessert bread or a breakfast dessert bread or a breakfast bread. So same thing, you're gonna want to mix all your ingredients, kind of let them sit a little bit, let the oats bloom, and then you're gonna put it into your baking dish of choice. Like I said, I decided to do a bread tin because I wanted something different. Now, the third option for breakfast is just regular oats. If we run out of breakfasts, I can grab some oats, I can put it with cinnamon, I can, go get more bananas if I want to, but here is the Yam Breakfast Bread, and this was so delicious. I already shared this recipe over on Instagram, so if you're not following me over there, you're missing out because you get little sneak peeks of recipes to come, and you can get them quicker over there as well. So this was really delicious, and as you can see, it made a lot of slices. It's very dense and chewy and sweet, and I hope you really enjoy it. I decided to take my veggie scraps and make a quick broth. Now, this is not very many, and this is like way less than I normally do, but I just wanted to show you how you can quickly make veggie broth with very little scraps. So this is just a little bit of onion, a little bit of sweet potato, celery, and carrots. And I did add about 9 cups of water because I knew that's about as much liquid as I wanted for future recipes, but this is not enough scraps to get a very dark colored broth. You need more and probably a little bit more cooking time, but the broth itself tastes delicious when it's all done. So I cover that with water. Like I said, I did about 9 cups, and I put in salt and garlic. Now, you don't have to put salt or garlic into your broth if you don't want to. I personally do because I think it adds so much flavor, but I don't even measure it. I just kind of dump it in. But then I just pop the lid on my Instant Pot. I turn it on for 1 hour, and then I naturally release it for 5 minutes. So if you're not making your own veggie broth, you definitely should. It's a wonderful way to use up the scraps that you have from cooking. It's a really good way to extend waste. So instead of just tossing them out, you're using them one more time as much as you can. And I just think it's just so wonderful, and it's so easy. If you have an Instant Pot, you can literally just turn it on, put your stuff in it, and then forget about it for an hour. So this is the outcome. Like I said, it's not as dark as normal because I didn't have as many veggie scraps, but I still did it, and I really enjoyed this broth. I used a couple for today's recipes, as you will see. This was definitely my husband and I's favorite meal for the whole week. There are a couple tweaks I would make if I make it again, which I most likely will be, but I attempted to make an enchilada, and it was really good. The only tweaks I would make is instead of using half of a pack of corn tortillas, I would use a lot more. I only used half because I was trying to save the other half for a recipe tomorrow. And then I would use a large can of this tomato sauce instead of just a small can to make it even more saucier. So to the pan, I added a little bit of the enchilada sauce, and then to a large bowl, I added about half of the enchilada sauce and a drained and rinsed can of corn. And then I added some of my soup veggies that I had that I just kept adding to a lot of different things throughout the week. That was just a nice flavor additive. It might seem weird to add celery and carrots and onions to an enchilada, but honestly, it tasted really, really good. Like, those vegetables in general just have a lot of flavor. And then I used some black beans. I would probably say I purchased a little too many beans this week. It was nice to have different beans with like rice and potatoes and like to have variety, but I definitely relied a lot on the black beans. And maybe I could have purchased 1 pound less of beans and another pack of corn tortillas, but overall the week was amazing. And then to that bowl, I also just added about 3 cups of rice. Now I will say we have so many beans and still some rice and still a couple potatoes left. We're kind of out of vegetables and stuff, but I mean, we could definitely just eat beans, rice, and potatoes for a few days and probably make this like meal plan stretch a little bit further. We also still have some leftovers. So I would definitely say this could have fed us for 10 days. The soup and a lot of the dinners that make 4 to 6 servings just really kind of spilled over, and it took us like out of the 7-day marker, if that makes sense. I only did the one lunch meal prep of the potatoes and veggies earlier on in the week because I knew dinners, if I was making 4 or 5 dinners, we would have a lot of leftovers. Like, for example, this meal right here is 4 servings is kind of what I estimated to be because there's a lot going on here. So we had lunch the next day as well. So we just had a lot of food. So I took that stuffing of the rice and beans and corn and put it in my corn tortillas, which I did warm in the microwave for a few seconds to kind of make them more pliable. And then since I didn't have any more corn tortillas to use, I actually decided to just put the rest of the mix on the top. So it was kind of like a stuffed enchilada bake, if you will. And then I threw it in my oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees, and this was so good. The enchiladas, like the corn tortillas, soaked up the sauce on the bottom of the pan and just had a really nice texture and taste to them. And then, you know, covered with the rice and beans mixture, they got really soft, and this was so good. This was just an easy leftover throw together. I pulled out some of the broccoli from the frozen veggies. I put some rice with some hot sauce and then warmed up some beans. And this was a perfect dinner and lunch option for the week as well. Super easy and delicious. This was one of our favorite meals for the week, and it was so simple. So I took the leftover corn tortillas, the leftover black beans, and some of the brown rice, and I made nachos. So I did add this carne asada seasoning to the rice. It was really delicious. We both, my husband and I, love the seasoning already, and so that just added a lot of flavor. Here is my dog Marcus, who thinks that he is getting a corn chip, but he is not. So I just throw the chips into my air fryer after I kind of slice them up with a pizza cutter, and then I warmed up the rice on the side with the seasoning and the beans, and then I ended up picking out some cauliflower from that frozen bag of vegetables I had and throwing that in the air fryer as well. And this might look so weird, but this was so delicious, so don't knock it until you try it. It was easy, simple, filling, and nutritious. This was another quick dinner. I used the rest of those vegetables I made for soup, some veggie broth, some Dijon mustard, soy sauce, and rice. And I think I've showed this a few different times on my channel, but I'm making kind of a mock ramen. So I'm just bringing my veggie broth to a simmer, and then to that I add everything. Since everything's already cooked, it's almost like you're just warming everything. This is such a good way to use up not only, you know, your veggie scraps to make veggie broth, but also to make like a really healthy mock ramen. And honestly, I could eat this every night because I love it so much. The vegetables add so much flavor because they're already cooked, they're already soft. Like I said, you're just kind of warming things up, and then you add whatever kind of rice you want to it. I add soy sauce and Dijon mustard because that's like my 2 favorite flavors with ramen. You can also add chili powder or chili flakes or garlic or any kind of seasonings you like. I do want to really say that add whatever seasonings you want when it comes to these budget-friendly meals. If you only have salt and pepper, that's perfect too. But a lot of people do have different seasonings on hand. So, I mean, the basics are obviously salt and pepper, but I assume most people have something in their cupboards. And if you don't, then I do apologize for using, you know, different kinds of seasonings throughout the week. But I am someone who just purchases seasonings here or there. I don't have a large variety of seasonings, and then I just use them obviously until they're gone. Like these chili flakes are a staple for us, but they're almost gone. So that would be something that I would repurchase in my grocery budget in the next couple weeks. Oh, I do also use this vegan chickenless seasoning salt from Trader Joe's. It's like garlic powder, onion powder, turmeric. It's very delicious and also really, really good with leftover rice or even fresh rice. So I did add that. Again, you don't have to add any of these seasonings. Salt, pepper is perfect. A little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of mustard, and then you just kind of let it bring it to a simmer and then stir it up. This is just one serving because my husband did work late this night, but I did make him an additional serving when he got home. But this is really filling. You have tons of veggies, tons of starch. It's delicious during this time of the year because you're having a nice warm bowl of soup, and I can't wait till you guys try it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, make sure you're subscribed, give this video a like, and follow me over on Instagram at Miranda Running on Plants. I do want to add really quickly, if you are someone who is really struggling with purchasing food and your budget is really, really, really tight and you don't have the means like we personally do to buy more food if we want to, reach out to the churches, the schools, and the organizations in your community and get food. There's no sense in struggling if you don't have to. We personally do have the means to purchase more food if we want to. We are just following a very strict financial goal plan. So that is why we decided to cut way back on our groceries. But like I said, we do have the means if we do want to purchase more food. If you're someone who is struggling, make sure you reach out to the proper organizations in your area because there is no need to struggle if you don't have to. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Like always, I will see you in my next video. Bye.